Hello, and I'm the Dave. And that came out much louder than I planned it to be.
You should in my ears.
With me tonight is
Mr. Mole.
and we're trying Bohemian Killing, which is a new indie title, which sounds pretty cool. I've just got
what cool kids are doing.
I've just got to turn that music down. I like that music, but I'm not a fan of music in games.
I'm just waiting for my thing to update and actually say you're online.
Yeah, I'm just gonna raise the volume of the actual game. There we go. Yeah, we're just waiting for it to actually come live on Twitch.
I can see you online now.
Okay, on my preview version, which is supposed to sit there so I can see chat, I can't actually see anything. Okay, graphics on, text to detail, come on, I've got a 1080, we can whack that up. Is there an ultra? No. Okay, we'll have a quick look at the controls. No, we won't. Right.
Well, technically you did look at the controls, and the controls are sensitivity.
True. And we're going to have subtitles on.
Well, technically you did look at the controls.
Actually, the delay isn't that bad. For Twitch.
I do hear myself in the background, though.
Yeah, you will do, unfortunately. Right, play game. New game. This game adapts to the choices you make. Each lie can change the verdict for better or worse. Would I lie? Okay, Paris, 1710, 1894. Remember that during your testimony you are not creating history, you are lying about what was already happened. In Bohemian Killing, there are hundreds of possibilities. You can frame other people, lie, manipulate evidence and witness, plead guilty, or even act insane. I can act insane!
Shouldn't take much acting.
Push T to track time.
Yeah. So let's get started.
Oh. Read book plus 15 minutes. Push 1 to draw your dagger. Okay. You can skip dialogues by holding E. Why would you skip dialogues? During testimony, it will skip a single line of dialogue. During cutscenes in the courtroom, it will skip the entire scene at the beginning of the testimony.
I'll have a look. Hey, Dad.
I think we've just lost them all.
Yeah, hang on a second. I would like to try and go to the side of the show. So,
Hold left mouse button to kill her. What if I don't want to kill her? Maybe I don't want to hold left mouse button. Maybe I don't want to kill her. Conscience.
okay, your conscience says stab her.
Okay.
What I say, however,
That sounded messy. Do you know what? I think we're guilty. I wonder what would happen if I'd have read the book then.
Monsieur Eaton. Monsieur Eaton.
We've seen that dialogue.
Monsieur Eaton, I'm talking to you. I'm sorry, Monsieur le Président. I was thinking. Do you understand the indictment? Sorry, but I have to ask the prosecutor to repeat. Monsieur Eaton, do you consider it to be a joke? You're charged with a serious crime. Please stay focused. Monsieur Prosecutor, please continue. As I said, I accuse Alfred Eaton of murdering Marie Capet on the 17th of October 1894 in Paris. That day, Alfred Eaton was at the theatrical premiere of Prométhée, Vol du Feu, which took place at Opéra Garnier.
I wouldn't have been there.
Apparent from the testimony of witnesses, the accused left at about 8:30 p.m. before the end of the banquet. At about 9:25 p.m., he rented a room in his name at the Caucasus Hotel, which is adjacent to the building in which he lives. It was in that room that approximately at 11:16 p.m. Marie Capet was murdered. Next, the accused returned to his house, and at about 10:05 p.m. he entered his apartment in company of Marie Capet, or let her in. It results from the fingerprint analysis. It did not show the victim's fingerprints on the outer side of the door, only on the inner. Alfred Eaton, by means of deception or threats, led the victim to his secret workshop, which is located on the first floor of his apartment. The police report did not indicate any signs of struggle or resistance. The accused probably wanted to test on Marie Capet the prototype of a torture machine of his construction, which was in the room along with medical tools. And
I don't remember seeing any of that.
torture.
Not to mention there was
When
blood
Marie
stain.
Capet realized what the accused intended to do, she grabbed a metal rod lying in the room and hit the accused on the head, which caused a real threat to his life and, according to doctors, may have caused unconsciousness. The fingerprints of Marie Capet's left hand were found on the rod, as well as Alfred Eaton's traces of blood. Traces of blood were also found on the floor of that room. At the time of his arrest, the accused had an extensive wound on his head, as confirmed by medical examination.
Wait, this isn't the one I murdered.
Seizing the opportunity, Marie Capet fled from the apartment. She was stressed and in a hurry. This was confirmed by her numerous fingerprints secured on the inside of the door of the apartment of the accused. Then, Marie Capet ran into a nearby hotel, the Caucasus. It was the same hotel in which the accused rented a room. As it appears from the testimony of the clerk, Marie Capet was extremely stressed, repeating the word doctor and police. Probably she wanted to call for help. When the clerk went to get some water to calm Marie Capet, she disappeared. The next day, on the 18th of October, about 8:32 a.m., a maid found her body in a room rented by Alfred Eaton.
Yeah, that's not the one I
It was
stabbed.
covered with numerous fingerprints of the victim and of the accused, and had traces of the victim's blood. The immediate cause of death was a severe blow to the abdomen in the liver area, with a blade of about 14 centimeters.
Murdering innocent people again, huh?
I see it.
Fails at keeping you out of trouble. I
I
didn't fail. I just didn't get there in time.
Marie Capet's unwashed blood stains were still present on it.
He told
as
me to
well as
stab
the
her.
fingerprints of the accused.
I did no such thing.
The accused is also charged by the testimony of one of the neighbors who passed the accused at the front door of the building in which they both lived at about 11:30 p.m. The witness testified that the clothing of the accused was stained with
This
Yeah,
is really
facts
my
presented
jovial
by-
disposition right now.
unfortunately
It's all
said
available during the game.
were not found.
So
At the time of committing the alleged crime, the accused was sane, which means he acted consciously.
I think this case is
For
prejudicial.
crimes, the accused shall be liable to life imprisonment
Shut up, fat man.
or the death penalty. As the accused understood the indictment? Oui, Monsieur
Nope.
le Président. Does the accused plead guilty to the charges?
He does. He does.
No, Monsieur le Président. Does the accused want to provide explanations?
Oui.
Oui, Monsieur le Président.
Monsieur le Président, could I ask you for some conversation time with my client?
Of course. I just wish
Oui,
it
Monsieur
wouldn't
le Président.
take too much time. We've already wasted too much of it.
Monsieur Eaton, please note that you can look through evidence at any moment. It is available by pressing tab. I will show the defense evidence to the court at the time of your uncovering during the testimony. It might surprise the prosecutor. If necessary, you can recall the string of events according
That is
to
true.
the
That is true.
by pressing the Q key.
I'm just the very loud, judgmental part of his subconscious.
I will give you my
Yeah,
advice.
skipping
and
court
remind
scenes
you
on your
of
first
important
playthrough is not recommended.
events.
Okay, do you want the attorney to help you during your testimony? I'm going to say yes.
We are ready.
Please help me lie in court.
Monsieur
Let's get started.
Well, he is a liar.
What were you doing?
A lawyer.
17th, 1894, from 8 to 12 p.m.
Column A, column B, I mean.
Which was sponsored by Le Feu, in which I am the lead designer. Starting at 7 p.m., I was at the premiere at the Opéra Garnier. Around 8:30 p.m., after the play, I found that I did not want to attend the dull banquet, and instead I preferred to work. I said goodbye to Hugo Argent, president of Le Feu, and I drove home. I got there at about 9 p.m.
Okay. I can't remember all the sequence of events, but I'm pretty sure that's not the woman I killed.
Oh, that go down really well.
I admired the charming streets of Montmartre. I
Mouse is really
decided to
sensitive.
go for an evening walk. I entered the Café de Paris Cathedrale. I wanted to drink some good wine and eat a piece of cheese. A group of Parisian rabble tried to throw me out, screaming that there was no room for gypsy thieves. They beat me and threw me into the street. I was all covered in blood. Did you report this fact to police officers? No, Monsieur le Président. I decided that it was not worth losing my time. And why is that? A second of my work is more important than the lifetime of each and every one of those plebeians. Besides, if I had reported it, I would have done them a favor. What do you mean, Monsieur Eaton? In jail, they would have had better living conditions than those holes that they call houses.
Ooh.
Please return to your testimony.
Right, I just got to quickly change the mouse sensitivity.
What, 2 not good enough for you?
It seems a little bit oversensitive. I don't know if you noticed the speed at which I'm spinning the camera. There we go. That feels a bit better.
I do not recall that.
I guess I don't go that way.
For a moment, I admired the charms of Montmartre. I read cultural announcements.
I like the way it's done.
For a moment, I admired the charms of Montmartre. I do not recall that part. I opened the gate.
Yeah. I admired the charm of the building.
Ooh, that's naughty. Yeah, that's one naughty too. Right, look away from the naughty images.
I opened the door and walked into the Caucasus Hotel.
You're meant to be admiring the charm.
I was trying not to. I don't want admiring the charms to get my Twitch channel banned.
I opened the door to the phone room.
Why would I buy poison? Yeah, let's buy some poison. Yes, I know it's French for fish.
I bought a few things from my vending machine.
Fish from a vending machine.
I spent a few minutes.
You say that, but in Japan you can actually buy live crabs from vending machines.
Oh. I suppose you have to make it snappy.
The door to the restaurant, but it was closed because of the late hour. Next, I threw a few francs to the fountain in the hotel.
I wanted to jump in so I could clean some of the blood off me.
Apparently, the clerk noticed my state, but the rules of savoir-vivre did not let him make any commentary. I wanted to rent a room in a hotel, but the clerk said that a room had already been rented in my name. He said it's on the top floor and gave me a spare key. I must add that the conversation with this man was not held at about 9:25 p.m., as according to his testimony, but at a different time.
Judge will remember it.
Do you claim that you did not rent that room? Oui, Monsieur le Président. But I knew it could not be a coincidence. The name Ethan is not that common. So you tried to learn more from the clerk? Yes. However, he hid behind his professional secrecy. I knew he wouldn't tell me a thing. I do not understand one more thing. You live next to the hotel. So why did you want to rent a room?
That's a good point.
Sometimes I meet up with some girls of the Moulin Rouge, and due to my reputation, I prefer not to do it in my apartment. Did you meet Marie Capet face to face? No, Monsieur le Président, never. I understand. Please continue.
I did know it's on top left. It keeps coming up with Judge will remember it. I hope so, because I'm not sure I will.
Don't forget to press the button to look at your watch.
I took the elevator.
I can't remember what that was.
Is it L maybe?
T for time, maybe? Yeah. Ah, so it wasn't at 9:25, it was 9:15.
Then I opened the elevator grate. I read cultural announcements. I tried to open the door to the hotel room, but it was closed.
What is it? For Q to get acquainted with it. Okay, the accused made a woman's name. It's a hotel which is adjacent to the building in which he lives. It's in the room approximately 11:16. So it's telling me this event is coming up, but I've already signed the book. I don't know if I've messed up by not doing it at the right time, but then given that I'm trying to beat a murder rap.
For a moment, I admired the paintings of Paris.
We shan't worry about the time limit too
I
much.
tried to open
Well,
the
now
door
technically if you
to
went
the
down
hotel
and
room, but it
wrote
was
in the
closed.
guest book, it would actually be
Then
half
I
past.
opened the elevator grate.
I suddenly realised I'm supposed to be at the end of the top floor.
Because if you meant that you're meant to have done it at 25 past.
Yeah, well, he did say not at 9:25, like he
Yeah.
accused me of. So
For a moment, I admired the images showing the beauty of Paris.
So if we waste as much time as possible, then go and sign it.
well, I suppose what's happening here
The historic tableware.
is I'm explaining what I was doing. This isn't actually what happened. This is just me explaining what I supposedly did.
Then I opened the door.
I walked around
glanced at
admiring the
painting,
artwork.
imitating early Monet. I glanced at the painting, imitating early Monet.
Sorry, I thought the judge was a bit stupid, so I thought I better just say it to him 3 times.
Painting, imitating early Monet. I opened the door and entered the room.
Because if this is where the book was, remember?
Ah, yes. In which case, it should be the door on the right, though.
Yeah.
But then, like I say, that was definitely not the person I murdered. Alright, in this game, you can find interactions marked +X minutes. It means that the using this object will skip time by the indicator in minutes. It is useful when you're waiting for an important event. Alright, so if we push Q, so that is the next thing. A and D for next event. So at 22:05, the accused entered his apartment in the company of Marie and let her in. He probably wanted to test on her the prototype of. Right, so at 22:05. What time is it now?
21 something.
No, 9:30.
Yeah, which is 21.
Yep.
I drank some decent champagne.
Don't worry, folks. Do not adjust your set. This is intended.
I wanted to learn something about that hotel allegedly rented by me. I dialed the front desk.
You know, my vision goes like that sometimes.
Yeah?
To check something in the
Yeah.
backyard. I had a moment to look inside the guest room. I went out into the corridor.
And I don't even get the fun of drinking to get it.
Yeah, I just realised it said I've lured him. I've got a moment to learn something from the guest book.
Then I opened the door.
So I'm trying to make a quick move towards the guest book before the guy.
Dun, 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 dun.
Then I opened the elevator grate. I took the elevator to the ground floor.
I think the court would get upset with my absolute insistence on detail.
Then I opened the elevator grate.
Absolute insistence on detail.
I checked the guest book. There was my surname and a signature which I recognized immediately. It was the signature of my father.
Ah. My father did it.
Although the evidence mentioned by my client has already been presented by the prosecutor. But I must add that we commissioned the handwriting expert. This is the proof marked with number 1. It states that the signature appearing in the hotel guest book really belongs to Antoine Eaton, father of the accused.
Then Monsieur Antoine Eaton will be re-examined as a witness. The hearing will take place at the next trial. I ask to duly summon the witness. The accused can return to his testimony.
There we go. There we go. Thank you, Your Honour. I think I can get away with. Shh, he's back.
Then I opened the elevator grate. Then I took the elevator to the second.
Yeah, Michelle, why did you call me here? Just to go back upstairs.
Well, I distracted him. I told him there's something in the garden. It took him a while to realise that there wasn't a garden.
Then I opened the elevator grate. Then I opened the door.
What are we meant to be doing now?
Right. Seconds have passed.
I tried the door handle to the hotel room, but it was closed.
Why did you try to open the door to someone else's room?
Honestly, I do not know, Monsieur le Président. I guess I was just curious if it would be open.
Well, please continue your testimony.
I tried the door handle to the hotel room, but it was closed.
See,
Why did you try to open the door to someone else's room?
Honestly, I do not know, Monsieur le Président. I guess I was just curious if it would be open.
Well,
at least I'm admitting to trying to get into two other people's rooms. Now, last time I found a book there, and there was bloody handprints there.
Later, I entered the room.
Now I think both these doors go into the same room because they're kind of either side, which is really bizarre. Ah, I'm washing the blood off.
Washing away any traces of blood.
And yet later I'm seen by the neighbour covered in blood. That would have been the perfect excuse.
I stared out the window at the quiet street of Montmartre.
Quick! Accidentally fall out the window.
I stared out the window at the quiet street of Montmartre.
Oh, plus 10 hours and end of testimony. Right, so let's have a look. Alfred Ethan's dagger and a murder weapon. Designed and manufactured by Ethan, is unique. Found in a secret workshop of the accused. Unwashed traces of blood were found on it, as well as Ethan's fingerprints. Metal rod, so that's evidence. I actually wanted to see the chain of what I'm supposed to be doing right now.
Then I left the room into the corridor.
Because I'm supposed to meet her and take her up to the room at was it 10:05? It said.
Mm-hmm. But obviously you haven't even got to 10:05 yet.
No, 15 minutes.
You could have read that book, newspaper in your room to.
Well, if I've got to meet her and take her up to the room, I'm assuming that I need to be in the lobby.
Then I opened the elevator grate. I took the elevator to the ground floor.
It's weird how precise it is, isn't it? That's like, I opened the elevator grate. I took it to the ground floor. I opened the elevator gate.
Then I opened the elevator
I
grate.
stood in the elevator like a moron, forgetting to open the elevator gate.
I opened the door to the phone room. I spent a few minutes talking on.
Right.
Later, I.
The accused entered his apartment in the company of magistrate or let her in. He probably wanted to test on her. Entered his apartment, so not the hotel room, my apartment.
Later, I opened the door and walked out into the street.
So I've got 5 minutes to find where my apartment is. So apparently it's next door to the hotel.
Which is convenient.
Yeah.
Then I opened the gate. For a moment, I.
But you normally don't take women home to your apartment.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
I knocked, but no one answered. I opened the door and entered the building where my apartment.
There we go. Unfortunately, we're not covered in blood. So I say my neighbour's a filthy liar.
There was a letter for me from the Ministère de la Justice.
Monsieur le Président, this is the evidence marked with number 2. It clearly shows that my client designed his interrogation machine with only the best intentions. According to his plan, it was supposed to be forwarded to the prosecutor's office and law enforcement agencies to improve the effectiveness of interrogation.
Yeah,
The prosecutor's suggestions that my client has supposedly intended to use this device to torture helpless women is hasty and completely untrue. This letter only proves that the accused was looking for application of his torture machine and had not found any support from Ministère de la Justice, so he decided to test it on an innocent woman.
The court supports the view that the mere fact of an offer to the Ministère de la Justice
does not constitute sufficient evidence that the allegedly accused acted in good faith when creating such a device. Monsieur Eaton, please go back to your testimony.
I was going to say, in about a quarter of an hour, we'll switch over to the horror game.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch this on YouTube later, the horror game is Paranormal Activity. You'll find it in the VR playlist.
Then I opened the door. I looked at posters on the bulletin board. I opened the elevator grate. I took the elevator to the second floor.
I'm liking this.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of the old Tex Avery games.
Then I opened the elevator grate. I checked the light switch to see if it was already repaired, but it still didn't work. Then I opened the door to my apartment and entered.
I didn't squeak like a big girl's brows last time. That was the cat. Why does no one believe me on this?
I glanced on the frames hanging on the wall.
No, let's face the truth here.
Sorry, I'm just listening to what he says.
Okay. I'll badmouth you in a minute then.
Then I opened the door.
Yeah. We know full well that it wasn't the cat, and you didn't squeal like a big girl's blouse because girls would have squealed at a lower tone than what you did.
I ate the leftovers from my lunch and drank some wine. Then I opened the elevator grate.
I've got my own personal elevator.
That's probably the one down to your torture dungeon. I mean, I'm
I
sorry.
must add that I cannot play, and the piano is just for decoration. I tried to play something on the piano. I must add that I cannot play, and the piano is just for decoration. I examined the new sculptures in my apartment. They beautifully fit the decor and the marble.
If you've got a letter in, you might as well head down there now.
Well, I said all letter in, I think. Yeah, or letter in. Ah, I'm a vampire. I cast no reflection.
But you're not sparkling.
I knew you were going to say it. I knew it. I knew it was coming.
I deliberately waited and waited and waited until the last possible moment.
I wanted to shave, but I cut myself with a razor. I was all covered in blood.
You fool, you cut yourself.
I missed seeing her come in. The accused entered his apartment in the company of motorway or let her in. Probably wanted to test the type of machine on her.
Well, now if you go down,
I opened the door and walked out into the stairwell.
Yeah, I'd assume there's a leeway of certain amount of minutes. Hold on, I've just got to make sure my neighbour sees me bloodied.
No one answered. Then I used the stairs. I knocked at Monsieur Brissot's door, and he called back after some time.
Do you always visit your neighbors at such odd hours?
Monsieur Brissot is the only neighbor I like. I believe with reciprocity. He goes to sleep late, and sometimes we like to argue about politics and the influence of La Révolution on today's France.
Please, return to your testimony.
Oh. So covered in blood from shaving. Well, that is a serious shaving accident. You know, I've got so much blood splattered on my face.
Yeah, you were shaving your eyebrows.
There was a letter tucked into Monsieur Brissot's book. The Lordship Service Association was the sender.
I hasten to add this: if you go around a mate's house and you start taking their letters, you're not a mate. You're a fucking thief.
I'll return the cable bill.
It is a letter sent by a fictitious organization to Monsieur Brissot, which, as it was said in the letter, cultivated traditions of the French nobility and was sending Madame Capet as servant for free. The letter was sent several days before the murder. So the question arises, who had really sent Marie Capet to Monsieur Brissot? And what were their intentions?
Thank you for the clarification. The accused may continue to testify.
I'm feeling like I'm going to get this phone out of court. I'm going to get away with murder. I'm going to get away with murder.
Straight into a jail cell, straight.
No, I just think of my little guy doing a dance in the evidence booth. I'm going to get away with murder. I'm going to get away with murder.
I noticed many empty bottles in the room. Monsieur Brissot had... I looked through Monsieur Brissot's heirlooms, his ancestors, family portraits, and chronicles.
You know, as you do.
Yeah.
The apartment of Monsieur Brissot was full of memorabilia. The apartment was full of empty bottles. Monsieur Brissot sought solace in drinking.
I stood on his table and said hello.
I opened the door to the living room of Monsieur Brissot. I was curious to see behind the door, but did not want to offend my host by nosing around. I knew how he is attached to the etiquette.
Despite the fact I've just looked through absolutely everything, took a letter in front of him, and haven't even said hello to him because I didn't have the option to. Wait, why is that door smashed?
I was curious to see behind the door, but did not want to offend my host by nosing around. I knew how he is attached to the etiquette. Then I opened the door and left the apartment.
I walked in, looked for his stuff, and left.
I wanted to turn off the lights in the hall.
Did you not say hello? I felt no need.
I decided
My work
to
here
use
was
the
done.
stairs instead
Exactly.
of the elevator. Then I opened the door. I checked the light switch to see if it was already lit. I opened the door and walked out into the street.
So I seem to have missed her. If she's not on the street, we're going to go and investigate. No, so let's go and have a look at where that other lift goes and what's upstairs in my apartment.
Then I opened the door. I decided to use the stairs instead of the elevator.
Move.
Then I
Yes,
opened the
move.
door to my apartment and entered.
I wanted to get my blood pumping out of my veins that I had just recently sliced.
Now, I heard that same noise when I walked in here the first time.
I used the stairs. I checked the elements of my cleaning machine, assessing what remained to be done.
Yes, cleaning machine. We won't work on the invention just yet.
I turned on the gramophone and listened to some music. Then I opened the door. I I caught Marie Capet rummaging through my safe. In an instant, she grabbed a metal rod and hit me on the head.
What
I
a
woke up sometime
witch.
later. My head ached and was all covered in blood. Marie Capet was nowhere to be found.
So I may actually be innocent.
I saw a metal rod on the ground. There was blood on it. My blood. I saw that the safe was open, and Capet had stolen the designs of my most important invention.
Why do you think Madame Capet did it?
I don't know, Monsieur le Président, but I was
In fact, I
going
saw her
to
there.
find out. I saw a spare part of my invention lying on the ground. I picked up the mechanical dagger lying on the desk.
They meant the why do you think she did, as in why did
Yeah.
not why do you think
I
she
wear it to ensure my safety.
Do you feel unsafe?
she
I
doesn't
am
remember.
a wealthy gypsy. At least 1/3 of the population of this city wants me dead.
I understand. Please continue.
And I just got conked over the head with a metal pot.
Yeah. I'm still bleeding from the shaving cut. There's blood spraying out of my neck, you know.
Then I opened the elevator grate. Later, I went down to the basement using my freight elevator. Then I opened the grate of my private elevator.
It's a bit disturbing I've got a private elevator. That says serial killer right there, you know. I was hoping I could actually get out that way, but no, I can't.
I opened the grate of my private elevator. I took the freight elevator to my apartment. Usually, I use it to take up the boxes with parts from the... Then I opened the elevator grate. I opened the door and walked out.
Right, let's
into
go kill the woman.
You mean let's go and find out what happened?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then I used the stairs. Then I opened the door. Then I opened the door and stepped outside.
Then I went past the clerk, covered in blood, but in a different blood than I went past the clerk a little while ago.
For a moment, I admired the charming street. I opened the gate. I entered the nearby hotel, Caucasus.
Oh.
I've just received an urgent package from the Procureur de la République containing new evidence in the case. I ask both the parties to get acquainted with it. It is a letter from the attorney's office from 1 week before the murder, which calls Alfred Eaton in attendance to forward the designs of the invention which he has constructed in secret from the company. The firm acted on behalf of the president of the company, Hugo Argent. Monsieur Eaton, have you received the letter?
Oui, Monsieur le Président.
When did you receive it?
I don't remember exactly, but probably on the 10th of October.
So, exactly 1 week before the murder.
Oui, Monsieur le Président.
Which designs are mentioned in this letter?
Designs of my secret invention on which I was working in my free time. It has no connection with the firm.
Therefore, why did the firm send you this letter on behalf of Hugo Argent?
Hugo must have guessed what great potential my invention had, and how profitable it could be.
Did you keep your designs in your apartment?
Oui, Monsieur le Président, in the safe, in my secret workshop. Due to the new circumstances which may be relevant to the case, I order a rehearing of Hugo Argent. Please summon the witness. There will also be a rehearing of Antoine Eaton, father of the accused, due to the suspicion that he had rented the room in which the murder was committed. And at this time I announce a break. The next court session will be held tomorrow at the same time.
That does actually seem like an appropriate point to change game. We did say the next court hearing will be tomorrow. Right, I am going to hit space to see. Right. How do I save the game? Save and quit to desktop. Okay, guys. We're going to be changing game in a minute or two. I hope you've enjoyed this. I shall be writing a review for this either later tonight or tomorrow. Spoiler alert, I quite like it. It's unique. Which, let's face it, is rare in this day and age.
It's a different type of game.
And at this time I announce a break. Take the accused back into custody.
I chose save and quit. Okay. That was a bit strange.